Let's talk about the A's. It feels like it's a foregone conclusion, and we've seen this movie before when Commissioner Manfred basically came out and talked about the fans that showed up for that protest night. His thoughts on it was just like, well, essentially, it's great to see fans there. At least it brought an average Major League Baseball audience to the stadium, as if the A's fans are not responding to the product that's been put out there on the field. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, he and the owners, they want this thing to happen in Vegas, period, end of story, right? I mean, like, this is done, Jeff, right? Or no?
It is done. No, it's done. And what Rob Manfred said that day, I thought was the most tone-deaf thing he said since he told Carl Ravitch that the World Series trophy is a piece of metal. And he admitted that he regrets doing that, and putting Rob Manfred in front of a live microphone is always it's always a journey. You just never know what's going to come out of his mouth, and he gets very defensive. And I think in this situation, his defensiveness shown in the worst way imaginable, which is that he was talking down to the fans. And that's really unfortunate, because I think you hit the nail on the head. Oakland fans are good fans. They just have a stadium that should be condemned, yes, and an owner who has zero interest in putting a winning product on the field. And it's a shame that the owner doesn't take the same approach as his front office, because Billy Beane and David Force, they were among the only executives out there, and certainly the only ones in a market their size, or at least a revenue streams of their size, who never went full tank. Like, they just didn't do it. It offended them. It offended their sensibilities. But John Fisher made it impossible to do otherwise, because he, as the owner, demanded that these guys get traded. It's Major League. It's a movie come to life,
yes,
Rich. And the movie Major League is a comedy, and so are the Oakland A's.
Oh, wow. Because that is the perfect analogy. It's when Manfred said what he said, it made me think like he was rooting about messing with Jobu's rum because Rachel Phelps deserves to go to Vegas. Like, that's the way it felt. Honestly, and when I heard that, I'm like, this thing's done. Because I was kind of rooting, in a way, for a sort of fan-based grassroots movement that would lead to to continue a Moneyball type run that would blow things up in a way that, say, the Super League got blown up by fans, and in Europe, where baseball's playing a marquee game this weekend. But that, as soon as I heard Manfred say that, I'm like, this is over. This is a fan base that he's no longer, willing to, or up for addressing. And then in terms of him saying he regretted something, you're referring to the Time magazine interview that he had that posted this week. What did you make of him saying that he regretted the way he handled the Houston cheating situation, and that he would have approached it without giving player immunity this time around? What'd you make of that one, Jeff?
I think it's taken Rob Manfred 4 years to get to the place where most of the people throughout the game were to begin with. I mean, you remember the comments of players going into that spring after the Athletic story dropped, and this was, the punishment comes down and players are given immunity, and all of a sudden it's like, what? Jeff Luhnow, who was the Astros GM, was in charge of baseball operations. So I understand why he got fired. And A.J. Hinch was the manager, and his job is to run the clubhouse. So I understand why he got fired. But let's be abundantly clear about something. The players are the ones who came up with and implemented the cheating scheme. And so for the players to get off scot-free because they, ostensibly were going to give information, when in reality the information that MLB got was not a whole lot different than what was in the original story. I think it reflected awfully poorly on Manfred, and it looked like the players got away with the crime, and they did. Like, they absolutely did.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.